So a big story in the mountain bike tech side of things at Sea Otter is 27.5 plus. People are calling it mid-fat. It's something we're seeing pop up on trail bikes, like the Specialized, adventure bikes, and also word on the street is it might be the go-to size for e-bikes. So let's take a look. So what is 27.5 plus? Really what we're talking about is obviously a 27.5 inch wheel with about a 3-inch tyre. What that does is it brings the overall diameter up to what you'd normally see on a 29er. Obviously with the extra width on the tyre, you're going to need a fork to run that extra width. Fox are offering the 27.5 plus 34 model. This is super wide. This model actually fits up to a 3.25 inch tyre, but actually also they offer their 34 and a 29 as well. And this 29 fork will fit up to a 2.8 tyre. So they've got a couple of different offerings for the 27.5 inch plus tyres. Here's a new Rocky Mountain Sherpa, sort of designed as an adventure bike, their go anywhere bike. The guys had it here last year as a prototype and they said the response was incredible, so they've decided to make it a production bike. Obviously you can see the WTB tyres up front, they're 2.8 wide with a super wide WTB scraper rims, giving you that big width on the tyre so you can ride over things like sand and ice a lot easier. Rocky Mountain based this off their Element 29er frame, so they're using almost the same main frame, but obviously front and back has got to be much wider to accommodate the tyres. So up front they've got the wider Manitou 120mm forks, but on the back they've designed a wide rear end to fit that big tyre in the back. Right, so we're over at Specialized checking out their new fuse. It's been a big talking point here at Sea Otter. It's the 27.5 plus mid-fat. What are you guys calling it?
So we're calling it 6 fatty. So like you said, it's basically that mid-range 27.5, but a little bit bigger wheel size and a little bit bigger tire. So we run these with a 650 by 3.0 is the tire size that we're using.
So it looks to me like it's relatively long front end, kind of slack, obviously short stem, dropper post. I say quite an aggressive trail bike.
Specialized, we're known pretty well for our geometries, especially with 2.9s, and we really wanted to take a lot of what we learned with our 2.9 geometries and bring it into this bike. So like you said, we've got a little bit longer top tubes, a little bit more room in the top tube, shorter stems, short chain stays, and a little bit slacker head tube angle too. So
obviously you're going wider with the rear end to give you enough clearance for the tyre. Does that make any other changes to the bike, like BB, obviously wider as well, is it?
The BB is actually the same. It's still a 73mm BB. Like you said, we have made the rear end a bit wider. It's a 148 rear hub. Major reason we wanted to go with a 148 rear is it gives you 3 more millimeters of chain clearance and also gives you a more stiff rear wheel too.
Cool. So at the moment, this is your only bike with these wheels on. Do you think this is going to transfer over to different styles of bikes, different models?
We could see it going that way. Like you said, I mean, this is our first run into it. We've done a lot of testing so far. We've been extremely happy with the ride quality. One good analogy, the way that these ride, it's like you look at like downhill skis. Downhill skis have always been pretty narrow, and you're seeing the trend going bigger and bigger, and we see that same trend going for mountain bikes as well.
Yes, we've seen some pretty wild and wacky stuff at Sea Otter. Let's see if 27.5 plus sticks around. Don't forget, click up here for our skills videos. Click down here for our pro bike features and click on this guy to subscribe to GMBN.